Hello guys! It's probably no secret by now that I love war movies. I love watching them with my parents, specifically World War II movies, specifically old World War II movies. I did a video listing 5 great classic World War II movies a couple years ago, and then I did a follow-up the next year with 5 more great old World War II movies. And even though it's been my intention to do another such video, I've never gotten around to it. But today, it's time to take that project off the back burner. I've got a list of movies that's over a year old now, and I'm going to go through it. This is only going to be a light overview, nothing too in-depth, because A, I've got a lot of movies to cover, and B, I've only seen most of these movies once, and not recently, so I'm a little shady on the details. But anyway, here we go. In no particular order, these are a dozen or so additional old World War II movies that I really enjoyed. Starting with number 1, 1945's A Walk in the Sun. This movie stars Dana Andrews and follows an American platoon that's just arrived in Italy with orders to find and destroy a certain bridge. This is one of my favorite kinds of war movie, one that focuses on the camaraderie of a group of infantrymen as they march and fight and wait and joke around with each other. It's not flashy or affected, it's just a good story about regular guys stuck together in a foreign country trying to stay alive. Number 2 is 1943's Sahara, a North African theater story about a lone tank crew led by Humphrey Bogart trudging through the desert. They pick up fellow stranded allies along the way, all piling into the tank or on top of the tank, forming a varied group that ends up confronting 2 deadly enemies, the Germans and the desert. It's another movie with excellent banter and camaraderie. Hey, I like what I like. And this time it's happening between men from different countries. Bogart is great in this, and the ensemble, which is just as important as the lead in stories like this, has some very likable characters. Number 3 is 1965's Von Ryan's Express, a POW camp escape film starring Frank Sinatra and Trevor Howard. If you like The Great Escape, and who doesn't, you'd probably like this. It's got a similar vibe, even down to the British and American soldier clash, with strong doses of humor and adventure and suspense, but also a couple sobering scenes. It's a highly entertaining movie. Number 4 is 1951's Decision Before Dawn. Even as war against the Germans draws to an end, the Allies still need insider information, so they decide to take a chance and use a couple German POWs as spies. Richard Basehart is technically the star of the movie, but it's Oscar Werner's performance that's the high point. He's likable, sympathetic, conflicted. It's an excellent, memorable performance. It's a suspenseful and thoughtful espionage film with some key images of war-torn Germany. Now, numbers 5 and 6 kind of go together. I couldn't decide which of these 2 Claudette Colbert movies to put on the list, so I put both of them. 1950's Three Came Home is a true story that stars Colbert as a woman separated from her husband, played by Patrick Knowles, and placed with other women and children in a Japanese camp. The film has some touching moments and an interesting relationship between the main character and the Japanese commander, played by Sasue Hayakawa, most famous for his performance as Colonel Saito in The Bridge on the River Kwai, a movie that's not on my list but is still a must-see war movie. The other Claudette Colbert movie is 1943's So Proudly We Hail. This movie recounts the experiences of a group of nurses stationed in the Philippines. Old war movies focusing on women in combat situations are not common, so this movie's kind of a novelty. It takes what I love about films like A Walk in the Sun and Battleground and does a gender reversal. It boasts memorable performances from Colbert and Paulette Goddard and Veronica Lake, all playing tough, admirable women, and the movie does well juggling the emotional ups and downs of their experiences. Number 7 is 1958's Sea of Sand, also called Desert Patrol. Like Sahara, this is another North African theater film, except this one's British. The sand is heavily emphasized here, not just in the title, but in the movie's stark, dry atmosphere. I felt gritty just watching it. There are some great memorable scenes, one in particular an incredibly tense sequence involving landmines, and if I remember correctly, the movie has some brilliant explosions too. Number 8 is 1964's 36 Hours, a movie starring James Garner as an officer privy to the planning of D-Day who is abducted by the Nazis, who intend to convince him that the war ended years ago so that he'll willingly talk about the coming invasion. I love the premise of this movie, and watching the Nazis, surprisingly led by Rod Taylor of all people, execute this elaborate ruse is fascinating. Implausible maybe, but very entertaining. Numbers 9 and 10 are movies from 1940 that were being filmed just as war was starting. The first is The Great Dictator, Charlie Chaplin's daring parody of Hitler, in which he plays dual roles as, I believe it's Adenoid Hinkle and the barber in the Jewish ghetto, modeled after his Little Tramp character. I don't generally care for war comedies, but I make an exception here. You can always depend on Chaplin for great physical comedy, as in the scenes with the Globe Ballet and the food fight, but also for sensitive moments that tug at your heart, as in the famous speech he delivers straight to the camera at the end of the movie. The other film is The Mortal Storm, starring James Stewart and Margaret Sullivan. This movie was one of the first to depict the rise of the Nazi Party in the 1930s and reveal its damaging effects on one family in Germany to American movie-going audiences. I admit I don't remember a lot about this movie specifically, except that it was very good, I really liked it a lot, and that it had an unusually dark performance from Robert Young. Number 11 is 1945's The Way to the Stars, also called Johnny in the Clouds, a British movie showcasing the Royal Air Force from the time between the Battle of Britain and the American Relief. It's a very British cast, featuring the dependable likes of John Mills and Michael Redgrave. The film shows the varied experiences of these men as they fly missions, interact with nearby civilians, and try to avoid getting bombed. Number 12 is 1943's Bataan, a movie about a small group of men struggling to defend the Bataan Peninsula after the Japanese invasion of the Philippines. It's a rundown group fighting heat and bugs and disease and low morale, and that's all in addition to the official enemy. These men are led by Robert Taylor in one of his more gritty, serious roles. This is kind of a grim movie, surprisingly bleak for its mid-war release, and I thought it was well done overall. And number 13, the last one, is 1968's Where Eagles Dare. This is one of those impossible mission movies of the 60s and 70s. Great action, lots of fun, kind of bombastic. I don't really remember the details of the plot, except that it's Richard Burton and Clint Eastwood dropping into Germany, going undercover, infiltrating a huge German castle on a mountaintop, and killing a lot of Nazis. That's all you need to know, really. So there you have it, a baker's dozen of war movies. There are plenty more where that came from. There are a lot of good old World War II movies that I did not mention. I can't go through all of them. And there are new ones, new to me, that I'm discovering all the time, so be on the lookout for mentions of them in my monthly movie recap videos. I hope there was something there that sparked your interest or that made you say, hey, I love that movie. So let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye!